As you can tell, I just woke up from my ever so long slumber and decided to get my butt up. My name is Bob Danielico, and what I like to do, and what I've been doing for about a good 6 years now, is called EVP, which is short for electronic voice phenomenon, which is recording of spirit voices onto either tape or digital media. How it essentially works is you bring a recorder with you, something like this. It could be digital, it could be a tape recorder, and you go to a cemetery or any place you'd like to go, your favorite spot. You want to make sure it's a little bit quiet out here. I know there's like birds and stuff out here, but you know, you don't want anything like a lot of wind, you don't want traffic. You know, let people go about their business and pay their respects to their friends, their families, because that's, you know, the only right thing to do. So what you do is, when you do an EVP session, you hit record, and what will happen is you will ask a couple of questions, and hopefully you will get some kind of response or some kind of sound or voice or noise. You don't hear these voices or sounds when you're recording, but upon playing back what you recorded, sometimes you can actually hear voices responding to you, which is really neat. If any of you are familiar with the Ghost Hunters episodes or the movie White Noise, you'll get a good idea. Kind of like, well, Hollywood dramatizes it a little bit. It's not, you know, all that. It's actually pretty tame compared to White Noise, but you know, I mean, it's something that you should have fun with it, and you feel like researching about it. You know, it's good to get serious into it, but not too serious, because I've seen people who really get involved with this and they get really deep with it and they take it like beyond. I've seen so many people take EVP so seriously that they get to the point where they get really deep and dark about it, and they'll start to like channel spirits and stuff. You don't want to go that far. You don't want to keep recordings long. 5 minutes is good. And then after you're done, thank the spirits for their time and stuff like that, because, well, they took the time, you know, out of their busy or not too busy schedule to be a part of your EVP session. So if anybody has any questions about EVP, you can come by my channel and drop me a line. And that's it about the EVP. Other things I like to do is go out for long walks, and I try to get out as much as I possibly can. I also like to mess around with computers, and especially mess around with video. Essentially, one of the main primary things that keeps me sane and keeps my mind active, which is very important to me. I don't really have a social life. Pretty much, I don't want to say totally isolated, but I don't get to go out as much. You know, I have friends on Facebook and MySpace, and I never just get around to it where people are busy or they're doing their own thing. I probably hang around with probably 2 people or 3 people at the most, and they're on my Facebook page. And you know, I find in life that I may not have a whole mess of friends or a lot of friends, but for the friends I do have, that's all that really matters. I don't need a lot. You know, sometimes we have awakenings in our lives, and sometimes lessons can be really hard. I didn't do anything bad, but something kind of hit me and did change my life, basically forever. And I've had to change my way of living, my way of thinking, and my way of doing things, and I'm doing more things lately over the past year, and I don't take much for granted anymore. I am a constitutionalist, which seems to get me in trouble at times. Certain topics where you discuss a point of view, where you discuss certain things, can get you kind of in trouble, or people think you're a kook, but things are different today, and just that, you know, there's some people that you can wake up and others you cannot, and for the most part it's best not really trying to work too hard at that. People make the decision to look up what others say or look up what I say. That's fine. If not, fine. Don't say I didn't warn you. I'm just kidding. But
it's hard because it's obvious what's going on in today's world, but I want people to at least look to what I'm saying. But I digress on that. And in the morning I leave off, I take off, and I go to my favorite place. I go and do my routine. I go down to Smith College area, and I go to this little coffee shack, which is really cool. Back in May, I went to this place called the Elbow Room, and it's become part of my routine, actually. I think I've been there just about every day. The place has been open for like 2 months. I think May 5th or 6th was the first place I went to. I'm pretty much a tea drinker. I do drink coffee, but since I've been through trauma and I've gone through a few extra things, anything that has a good amount of caffeine in it I can't have. So I've got to be a little bit careful on that so I don't hype myself up. So I'm mostly a tea drinker, a chai drinker. Once in a while I have a latte or something. I have a friend who picks on me. He basically thinks I'm kind of like between the locals or something because I get like lattes and chais and stuff. And he's a good friend and all, he means well, and we always play around and joke and sound right. I also have a sense of humor too, by the way. We mess around with each other, you know, and poke fun at each other, and you know, it's all good. You know, he's a pretty cool guy. Known him for about 20 plus years or so. But yeah, that's my routine. I go to the Elbow Room at Smith College, and then I'll go walk around Sage Hall, and then I'll go around the college property and, you know, admire the scenery and, you know, look at the little things. Because before, about a good year and a half ago, I kind of had this thing where I was kind of like living in my mind, if that makes any sense. I'm more attuned, I guess, to like external things, and I'm trying not to focus internally, because that's when I start to go nuts. And that was just my stomach. Haven't had breakfast yet. It's another thing about me, I gotta stop striving to be a perfectionist. That's always been my problem. I was always the kid in first grade who, no matter how many times I went through the alphabet, I had to have each letter perfect, no matter what. And if I was at like W or something, and if I screwed it up, I had to rip the paper up and crumple it up and do it all over again. You know, it's just, I don't know, I messed up in the head, I guess. But, you know, I mean, my life is quiet. It really is. Right now I'm going to go and walk around the cemetery a little bit and enjoy the morning. This is the cafe called Sylvester's. This is home of Sylvester Graham, the inventor of the graham cracker. The restaurant is to the left, and to the right is the little cafe. And I live right in back of this place. So it's pretty interesting that a guy who was into diets and studying of dietary fiber and for good health lives right in front of me.